My baby has been laughing ever since she was born. Last night, my husband did the unthinkable. It started with my husband not acting like himself. He left me with her all day. All day with her relentless laughing that was cute at first. There was nothing cuter than an infant's laughter. But she didn't stop. Mara was born laughing. Unlike other newborns, who were born screaming or even silent, our baby was laughing. I thought it was adorable at first. She was my first, so motherhood was new to me. Mom always told me my maternal instinct would just kick in, and she was right. When Mara was in my arms, a warm bundle pressed against my chest, I decided I was going to protect her. But I wasn't expecting my newborn baby to be laughing. I thought it was some kind of problem at first, maybe with her lungs. Her giggles did come out kind of throaty, like she was wheezing. I demanded tests, but Mara was completely healthy. I took her home from the hospital and expected her to stop, but she never did. She laughed when she was feeding, laughed when she was playing, even giggling to herself in the middle of the night. I admit, I've done things a mother should never do. I secretly wished she would stop. I secretly wished she'd cry instead. Somehow, crying made me feel more sane. It was normal to stay up until dawn with a crying baby, but laughing. I spent countless hours trying to keep myself awake, and when I did manage to fall asleep, I was jerked back awake minutes later by little Mara's giggling. It was as if she were saying, "Don't sleep, mommy. Play with me." I didn't have the heart to tell her she was slowly killing me. My bones felt like liquid lead. My brain was mush. It was late when Milo finally came downstairs. Mara was sound asleep in my arms. I was watching a TV that wasn't on. I was watching Netflix, but I could barely register what was going on. I was furious. He left me, again, after promising to look after Mara while I took the afternoon off. I texted him, but of course, he'd turned off his phone. Of course, my texts weren't being delivered. Hey, my voice carried more bite than I intended when I caught him sneaking toward the refrigerator, no doubt planning to eat the leftovers from dinner. He froze in my peripheral vision, pulling open the door. Milo was hesitant in answering. He hated confrontation. Hey, he stumbled over his words. Babe, he said, babe, like a question. Where were you? I asked calmly. I could feel myself splintering, my eyes watering. I told myself I wouldn't cry. Milo drifted off into a sigh. He pulled out a soda and leftover chicken and rice from dinner. I watched him crack open the can, take a long sip, picking at chunks of chicken. I resisted the urge to snap at him to get a damn plate. He was eating like an animal. Milo offered me a small smile, and in the fluorescent light I glimpsed dark shadows under his eyes. It's complicated. I almost laughed. You could have helped me, I whispered, careful not to wake little Mara. She mumbled in her sleep, her head tucked into my chest. With putting our daughter to bed. He chuckled, a sour edge to his tone. Yeah, I'm good, dude. Dude, since when did my husband say, dude? You promised. I spoke through my teeth this time, unable to stop myself. You said you would let me sleep and take care of everything. I had to swallow sobs, my chest heaving. When I woke up, she was laughing, Milo, and you were nowhere to be seen. You were gone. Again. I twisted to find him standing over the sink, his back to me. My husband was eerily still. He held a cup as if to fill it. But he wasn't filling it, he was just fucking standing there, letting water pool off of it. The stream was running, quickly overflowing, and he wasn't turning it off. Milo. My voice cracked despite myself. There's something wrong with you. You're not helping with Mara. You leave everything to me, her diapers, her bedtime, everything you promised the day I told you I was pregnant. You promised you'd be there for her. Milo, you called her the best thing that ever happened to you, and now you can't even look at her. He didn't move, didn't deny it, his arms tensed, fingers curling into fists. The faucet began to overflow, suds soaking the floor. I couldn't hold back a sob. Everything spilled out, words tumbling over one another, staining my tongue, dripping down my chin. You're disappearing at night, and you're not even sleeping with me anymore. Milo, you won't even look me in the eyes. I swallowed another sob, choking on the question before it could reveal itself, a snake's head protruding through my lips. Are you seeing someone? He stayed silent for a long moment, and in that moment, I realized, my chest aching, that I was losing him. Then he turned. His eyes were hollow, and a wide, fake smile stretched across his face. "Darling," he said, his tone sardonic and splintered, like he didn't mean that word. Like he never meant it. Like it was all a game to him. Milo used to say, "Darling," like he meant it, like he loved me. It was never an attempt to win me back or get his way. He said, "Darling," when he was tracing my torso in bed or making me morning coffee when I was sleep deprived. The imposter wearing my husband's face leaned against the sink, arms folded, one eyebrow cocked. To my surprise, he smiled, but it wasn't the smile I fell in love with. I had no idea who the fuck I married, but it wasn't Milo Street. "Claire, would you like to play 7 Minutes in Heaven?" Scooping up our baby, I stumbled to my feet. "You're kidding," I said, nursing Mara against my chest. I wanted to shout at him. Fuck. I wanted to scream at him. He'd been body snatched. Clearly. Milo St. Clair wasn't this bumbling fucking idiot who couldn't even change a diaper. Our marriage is falling apart. I gritted through a hysterical laugh. Maybe I was losing my mind. Laughing felt better. It felt like lukewarm water trickling across my bare skin. I'm actually starting to ask myself why I married you in the first place. My chest was heaving, my throat bitter with every word. Why was I so stupid? You disappear every day and refuse to look after our daughter, and then you finally come home and want to play a kid's game. I marched over to the sink and shut off the tap. "A game we played 15 years ago," I snapped. Then I turned to him, my heart aching. "I asked you a simple question, and you're stalling. Are you sleeping with someone?" He rolled his eyes. "I've never." His cheeks bloomed red. "I've never slept with anyone. I'm your wife." I shrieked. "What are you talking about? You have a daughter." I fought back a scream. When I got an eye roll in response, I couldn't hold myself back. "Is it fucking Annabelle?" He frowned. "Who? Annabelle Tate?" I hissed. "I know she watches you through the hole in her fence when you're cleaning your car." I filled Mara's bottle, my hands shaking. I dropped the lid twice before screwing it on. "So, what, am I not good enough for you?" I sputtered. "Your wife. You gave Annabelle Tate a good peep show when you hosed down your car, but you can't even sleep in the same bed as me." Milo's eyes darkened, his lips curling. He folded his arms. "Then why did you marry me?" He asked bluntly. His question landed like a gunshot. Right between my ribs, ripping through my heart. "What? Why did you marry me?" He repeated. "Come on. Tell me why you married me, Kana." "I'm not doing this." I moved for the door, but he blocked my way. Milo came close, so close, backing me against the sodden countertop. His lips brushed mine before his breath warmed my ear. "Pretend to kiss me," he hissed against my lips, his eyes somehow elsewhere, flicking back and forth, almost like he was searching for something. Milo's head tipped back, his eyes glued to every corner of the ceiling. Milo had been so distant, so invisible in my life, I forgot what he felt like. Tasted like. This was my husband, a man I knew like the back of my hand, and yet how did I fail to know that his lips tasted like sour lemon candies and stale coffee? How did I forget where I buried my head in the crook of his shoulder? "Just keep kissing me, all the way to the bedroom. You don't need to actually kiss me, just play along." His voice was a parasite bleeding into my skull. "How?" I hissed, but obeyed, smushing my lips against his chin. "Is this some kind of role-playing game?" Milo scrunched up his face. "What? No. Just play along." His eyes found mine. Brown and warm, endless coffee grounds with golden flecks bleeding around the rim. "Trust me, okay." He exhaled in my face, pulling me into a clumsy embrace. "Please," he said loudly this time, as if speaking to someone I couldn't see. I noticed he was guiding me gently toward our bedroom, his steps smooth, as if we were performing a waltz. I stumbled, and he quickly helped me up. "Just one game of 7 Minutes in Heaven," he whispered, "exactly like we used to play in school. We ask 3 questions each. 3 answers. No strings attached." I found myself being drawn closer to him, my breath stuck in my throat. "What about Mara?" His smile took me off guard. "Devilish. Leave it." I did. I left our daughter sleeping on the couch and gave in to desire. Reaching our bedroom and stumbling over the threshold, we paused in front of the bed, frozen and breathless, staring at each other as if we didn't know what to do. Then it hit like ice water. We didn't know what we were doing. I tried. I kissed him, and he kissed back, but it felt suffocating and wrong. Like I had never kissed him before, like I was kissing a fleshy mound of pink ick. When he moved closer, his warmth felt unfamiliar. I didn't recognize it. The way he touched me was immature, immediately trying to cradle my hips, his fingers ticklish. What? Milo looked self-conscious, adjusting his hands when I burst into hysterical giggles, shoving him off of me. Wait, am I doing it wrong? I had no idea how to answer because the truth was, I didn't know what I was doing either. I had squeezed out a baby after trying for months, and somehow, my arms around him felt like limp noodles. When I tried to undo his collar, I accidentally smacked him in the face. He looked offended for a moment, one hand cradling his nose, his usually stoic facade splintered, before he let out an explosive laugh. I laughed too, caught between hysterical gasps and trying to stop his nosebleed. Suddenly, everything seemed so stupid. The fight, Mara, even being intimate. Instead of us doing anything, Milo just held me awkwardly while my cheeks erupted. It was as if my body didn't know or understand what to do, even though we had already conceived a child. We had already had sex. I remembered him pulling me upstairs, both of us laughing, tipsy from wine, carrying me into our bedroom, and dropping me onto the bed, his lips kissing all the way down my neck, trailing down my torso. So, what happened to him? Why did he seem so foreign, so alien? Like he wasn't even my husband. More importantly, what happened to me? Eventually, Milo pulled away, eyes half-lidded. Glassy. I couldn't help but notice his hand stuck to my waist, as if he were playing a role. Acting. Wait, he whispered, pressing his index finger to his lips. He pulled me closer, his breath tickling my face. I think there's someone outside. What? I squeaked, immediately shoving him away. I was still fully dressed, but I felt exposed, even behind closed doors. Milo didn't speak, took my hand, and dragged me to the window. Before he could pull back the curtains, a voice startled us both, and I fell back, almost tripping over my feet. I've got a cheese and tomato pizza for Mrs. Kana Street. Claire. A male voice shouted from outside. Anyone there? I turned to Milo, my heart pounding. I told him I was cooking dinner. Milo even had the leftovers. So, why? I shook my head, swallowing questions smothering my tongue. Did you order pizza? Milo's lips curled, his gaze flicking upward, expression faltering. He squeezed his eyes shut and exhaled. His grip on my shoulders tightened. Yes, he said softly, breaking out into an explosive grin. His eyes flew open. Yes, of course I did. I ordered you pizza as an apology. I noticed the twitch in his eye, the furrow between his brows. He was acting again. Before I could question his sudden behavior, he leaned in close, his breath tickling my ear. Better go get your pizza, honey, he hummed, his tone unmistakably icy. Before it gets cold. I opened my mouth to respond, but our daughter's delightful giggling cut me off. Milo rolled his eyes. His expression darkened, and his eyes suddenly looked far too hollow. I was in denial at this point. What glittered in my husband's eyes was resentment. Hatred. He despised our daughter and wasn't even trying to hide it. He shoved past me, not before hissing in my ear, if you don't shut that thing up, I will. I caught his shoulder before he could stalk off. You mean your daughter, I said. I'm exhausted. You take her to bed. He jerked around, wide eyes and twisted lips. He was crying. I could feel him shuddering, his entire body trembling under my touch. Don't make me do it, Milo whispered, pleading. Please. We didn't speak again that night. Milo disappeared when I put Mara to bed. I ate cold pizza in silence and went to bed pretending not to hear my husband resign to the couch downstairs. It was difficult to come to terms with a lot of things. The first one was that my husband wasn't my husband anymore. Milo had always been a great dad. Now it was like living with a body snatcher. Ever since that night when I got the slightest reaction from him, maybe even the start of an explanation, he had completely shut down. Milo used to care about our child. Now, he went to work and came home and ate dinner with dead eyes and a weird, forced smile, like he wasn't given a choice to become a father. Like this wasn't what he wanted. Like I fucking forced him to refill bottles, the bare minimum, or take turns with me at night to settle her laughing. Milo had made it very fucking clear he hated being a father. I gave him the choice. 15 months ago, I knelt in front of him with a twisting stomach and vomit crawling up my throat and said, "I'm pregnant." A pregnancy test clutched in his fist and tears glistening in his eyes. Milo burst into tears and promised me it was exactly what he wanted. A mini version of the two of us running around, our own child. The thing about men is they will fucking lie. They think they know what they want, but do they? Do they really want to lose their sleep schedule? Do they really want to be sleep deprived? Do they really want a child, or just a pet? It had taken me a while being in denial, but I realized I was right. Milo didn't want a daughter. He didn't even want to be a father. When I invited friends over for lunch a few days later, I expected him to hide away like usual. But Milo was surprisingly present. While I caught up with our friends, my husband sat on the arm of our couch with one leg crossed over the other. I had friends over every week, and usually, Milo either joined in or went me a while we reminisced and got too drunk on fruity wine. Karina and Simon were old school friends, both with their own little one, Holden, who was almost 6 months old. He and Mara played in the lounge while we had our grown-up time. Milo was drinking beer, I noticed, which wasn't good. He wasn't usually a drinker, so when he appeared with a can of beer, I braced myself for more stupid behavior. He didn't disappoint. Sitting like a detective interrogating a perp, Milo stared down our friends. "Karina, it's nice to see you," Milo spoke up out of nowhere, while we were on the topic of baby clothes. He nodded at Simon, his eyes narrowed. Simon, speaking with his lips to his beer can, a weird smirk on his lips. I had a feeling he was going to be weird again. I shot him a warning look, which he, of course, ignored. Milo grinned, downing his beer. I caught Simon's side eye. He was embarrassing us. "This is a completely normal and not at all weird question, but how exactly did you meet Karina?" The two of them looked confused, but Karina was happy to answer. Optimistic as usual, wearing a sunshine smile with silky dark hair pulled into a ponytail. Karina Crawford was my best friend. Karina saluted my husband with her glass and a light laugh. "I'm pretty sure you know this, babes," she winked at Milo. "Simon and I met during college. I was studying astrophysics, and he was writing a book." She shot her husband a grin. "I was stubborn at first. Simon was the complete opposite of me. I mean, I was like a total control freak. I was a model student. I had my college life perfectly planned out, and a boy was never part of the plan. And I was planning on dropping out to write," Simon finished for her. "Luckily, our paths crossed. She was looking for a specific class, and I just happened to be writing on the steps. It was love at first sight." Karina sighed. She sipped her glass. "Just like a fairy tale. It was like fate. I saw him, and I realized my perfectly meticulous plan had gone completely out the window." She settled Simon with hard eyes that I was envious of, and I caught Milo subtly pretending to gag. For a guy the first barely even knew. I was seriously going to take a chance on a stranger, and it's like, Karina trailed off suddenly, her expression faltering, like she was going to say something. Instead of speaking, she went silent, her gaze wavering behind my husband. Milo leaned forward, his eyes wide. "It's like," Karina blinked. She giggled, waving her glass. "Sorry, Karina shook her head, pushing waves of dark curls from her face. "I apologize. I think I've had too much wine." "No, you were talking about your college days." Milo pushed, still perched on the edge of the chair arm. "Tell us more." He leaned back, arms folded. "You're married. Congratulations." His smile was as fake as his attitude. "Sue, when were you married? What date did you guys tie the knot?" "Milo." I managed through my teeth. I sent him another warning look, and he just shot me the thumbs up. "No, I like this game." Karina straightened up, balancing her glass between her knees. It was April 2nd, 2016. She smiled brightly at me. "In a gorgeous ceremony in Japan. We were married under the cherry blossom trees in Kyoto and had our honeymoon climbing Mount Fuji, and